Number 10, Fredbear's Family Diner. Fredbear's Family Diner is one of the more terrifying locations in the game, simply because it's so mysterious. This location provides more horror in the lore and in the lack of knowledge that we have about it, as opposed to direct atmosphere. The Fredbear Family Diner has been associated with the Bite of 83 and was the first Freddy-related location. Its animatronic stars, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, would go on to inspire the animatronics that we saw in the original game, Golden Freddy as well as Freddy Fazbear and Bonnie. In the FNAF book The Silver Eyes, this location is involved in the kidnapping of a child. Charlie, or Charlotte, one of the founders of the restaurant Henry's daughter, finds herself kidnapped by William Afton in the book while he's disguised as Spring Bonnie. Eventually, Afton would also be responsible for Charlie's death. Number 9, Circus Baby's Pizza World. Circus Baby's Pizza World was closed before it even had its grand opening, and is referred to in the game's sister location. It was the restaurant created by William Afton after Fredbear's Family Diner closed, or one of the restaurants. Circus Baby was its lead animatronic, joined by her friends and animatronic bandmates, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy. This location is likely where Elizabeth Afton snuck off to play with Circus Baby alone, resulting in her death when something went wrong with Baby, causing the animatronic to kill Elizabeth. Number 8, Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. After the restaurants were closed down, a rental location was opened to rent out the animatronics not being otherwise used. Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental is the main location of the FNAF game's sister location. As the player, you get to explore this new location in the role of a newly hired animatronic maintenance worker named Mike, who is referred to by the artificial interface as Eggs Benedict. One of the most unsettling things about the locations is that you often have to crawl from room to room in dark vents, and you are forced to shock the animatronics into performing daily. I don't know about you, but if someone was like, just shock that animatronic, it'll be fine, I'd be like, I'm not doing that.
And at 7, Funtime Auditorium. Funtime Auditorium is featured in Sister Location as well as FNAF VR. In Sister Location, you have to navigate through the room while using a flash to temporarily see where you're going while Funtime Foxy chases you. In FNAF VR, it's the same, only in VR. Sure, you can play it in flat mode, but it's not nearly as terrifying. Having Funtime Foxy after you is bad, yes, it's scary and you'll probably scream. However, in FNAF VR's nightmare version of this dark room, you have to deal with every animatronic. Bump into any of them, and you're screwed. Well, not really every animatronic, but a load of them scattered throughout the room. So not only do you need to avoid Funtime Foxy, but you need to navigate around the others as well. I hate the dark, it leaves me alone with my thoughts, but a dark room while something is chasing me and I only have a temporary light source before that room is dark again, no thank you! Especially if I bump into someone and they kill me. It's like walking in New York, only you can't see anything. That's how I imagine New York. And at 6, Ruined Freddy's. The FNAF VR DLC The Curse of Dreadbear adds 3 new sections of minigames. Danger Keep Out is the last one, and probably one of the most terrifying. You're back in the FNAF 1 security office, however this time the pizzeria is abandoned and boarded up. You don't have proper electricity and you can't close the doors, only camera flashes to keep you safe. Flash any of the animatronics and they vanish, giving you more time, until you need to reset the power. You get 5 flashes before having to reset, and while it resets you're left in darkness. Not to mention Foxy works the same way as he did, and on the final night when Dreadbear comes for you, he doesn't get reset. Flashing merely stops him from advancing for a time. Forget about him and you're done, no matter how much flashing you can do. And I mean like flashing light, not flashing anything else. So please be clothed if you're playing this game, just because you're probably gonna piss yourself. Halfway through number 5, Pizza Party. The final minigame of Help Wanted is Pizza Party, where you have to navigate your way through the various rooms of the pizzerias to get to your party. The whole time you're avoiding animatronics that will sometimes jump scare you, sometimes not. But the real horror comes from when you get to your party. It wasn't thrown by your friends, it wasn't thrown by your family, it was thrown by Glitch Trap. Yeah. After seeing the ruined bodies of Chica and Bonnie, Glitch Trap appears from behind a curtain. Your final moment is spent walking through that curtain as the screen goes black. Next thing you know, you're on stage with a microphone in your hand. You've been stuffed, put in the Freddy suit by none other than William Afton himself. But how? He wasn't meant to be in the game. He was some code that got scanned in by accident, right? Well, it's too late now. That's one of the scariest moments of any of the games. You experiencing what every other child has once William has shown them where their other pizzas are kept? Jesus, even now it gives me chills. Especially with that dancing at the end. What the hell was that? That's like me but worse.
Number 3, bedroom. The bedroom is one of the main locations in FNAF 4, where you as a child hide from the nightmarish versions of the animatronics who are tormenting you, stalking around your home, and trying to catch you, and probably kill you. The bedroom is large and dark, and you only have a flashlight to protect you. It's kind of like the original game's office, except in this version, you are a child armed with just a flashlight to protect you, and no monitors to really see what exactly is coming at you. You are forced to run from location to location in the bedroom to shine your flashlight and check for animatronic monsters as you attempt to survive the night until 6 a.m. in the morning, when you will be safe for the entire day. Until it's night again, and then you do it all again. That's how these games go. Number 2, The Office. Once again, we are going back to where it all started. There have been many offices since, of course, but the office from the first Five Nights at Freddy's is, well, it's where it all started. This office isn't just terrifying because of the creepy Freddy posters, the creepy cameras you can monitor from within, or because of what might be lurking just outside the hallway. It's terrifying because you can't leave it. The first game and what the office represents in it is the interesting and frightening take on survival horror that Scott Cawthon gave us with this game. A survival horror where you can't fight or run, you can't get away, and where you can't completely barricade yourself in a room even. He made just sitting alone in an office a terrifying experience. But what could be more frightening than The Office? Number 1, the scooping room. As if the first time that you arrive at this location isn't terrifying enough, Sister Location found a way to elevate the horror of this location further when it took you right into the heart of the scooping room, placing you in the machine's clutches itself when you were guided to it by Circus Baby during the true ending of Sister Location. The room is frightening not just because of the darkness and ambiance, but because of what happens here. The character you play as, Eggs Benedict, aka Mike, is killed by the scooping machine, with his guts being scooped out as though he were an animatronic himself, which of course he will sort of become one.
And at 9, Monty's Gator Golf. Now, not only do I want this to be playable in Security Breach because I want to play mini golf with animatronics like I've been saying for like 2 years, I just also want like another mini golf course. That'd be fun. I mean, like, this doesn't seem like anything original. Like, it's a black light neon mini golf course with an alligator theme. I can go to Niagara Falls or even downtown Toronto to find one of these. But the sheer scope of this area with all the animatronics that it has, like crocodiles coming out and stuff and whatnot, is absolutely insane. If someone put this much effort into a mini golf course, I think we would all be going there instead of these other indoor mini golf places. This place would be so packed that they'd get fined for violating regulations even back in 2017. Like, that's how beautiful this place is. It's unfortunate that at least from what I've seen you can't actually play mini golf, or maybe you can't play it until later on in the story, but nonetheless it's certainly a beautiful thing to look at, so I would love this in real life. And at 8, Roxy's Raceway. Roxy's Raceway is a large indoor go-kart track at one of the many locations inside of Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. It appears in FNAF Security Breach, and the hallway leading up to the area is decorated with speakers, tires, trophies, and motorcycles. The raceway itself is a Wild West themed go-kart track decorated with neon purple lights, because that's kind of her thing. The Glam Rock Beauty Salon is also located here, but in my hometown we have a place called Neb's Fun Roll, and actually it's kind of like the Mega Pizzaplex in a lot of ways, but instead of animatronics, it's focused on bowling. But they also had a go-kart track, much like Roxy's Raceway, and honestly I never got the chance to try it from what I remember at least. I begged, but I never could. So if Roxy's Raceway was real, you know damn well I'd be the first there, and I wouldn't have any mercy. You think you're gonna get ahead of me? Just wait, I brought banana peels from home. Just try and cross me. See where you end up. Oh, you're a 6-year-old kid? Who cares? Do you think I do? You clearly don't. Fazbear has a horrible reputation for kids. Your parents probably brought you here so that they wouldn't have to deal with your whining anymore. So I'm gonna do it for them.
Number 5, Salvage Room. This is a location belonging to the game Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. After finishing your shift, you get to visit this room and get the chance to salvage animatronics for cash. If you choose not to salvage the animatronics, you won't get paid. But if you choose to salvage, you'll get paid. But you'll also run the risk of, being killed by the animatronic that you're working to salvage. The room is also just eerie, as it's mostly shrouded in darkness. There's only one single light bulb hanging that mostly illuminates the animatronic you are working on and your work table. Not spooky at all. Number 4, vents. The vents are a location used in multiple different facilities throughout the different FNAF games. Whether you are crawling through them yourself or just monitoring them from afar to make sure no animatronics are in there, the vents are frightening. Now, animatronics typically crawl through them to sneak up on you, surprise you, and, well, ultimately kill you, which is why I don't like them. Sometimes it's too dark in those vents, and I'm like, you can't see what's coming. Gotta really listen.
Getting close to the end in number 3, Circus Baby's Pizza World. Circus Baby's Pizza World was a location created by William Afton after the closing of the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The grand opening of Circus Baby's Pizza World was apparently cancelled due to reported gas leaks in the building. Sources close to the establishment questioned the report though, saying that the strange activity around the area at night suggested something else was to blame. One local is quoted by saying, "Everything just stopped. There was so much excitement built around the place opening, and then they just stopped talking about it. There was only a handful of people that ever got to look inside, kids from here and there, making sure everything worked right, you know? I guess they weren't quite as ready as they thought they were." A tenant from across the street claims to have witnessed a large group of cars surrounding the building during the night, and large pieces of equipment being taken out of the building under tarps, which is kinda weird. And a few weeks later, the building was for sale. And while Afton's daughter might have died due to the baby animatronic, I think it would have still been nice to have a Circus Babies to visit. Even if it was designed as a murder den, but like, hey, I can get over that. But ultimately, into number 2, Fall Fest. If you're unaware or just forget, the Fall Fest I'm referring to is the centerpiece of the FNAF VR Curse of Dreadbear DLC. The main hub for the Halloween themed area is the Fall Fest and sits outside what looks to be a farm. Many pumpkins and hay bales litter the area, and I mean they literally have a corn maze, and I feel like that's like a farm thing. And to the left, the player can find a tractor and a blood moon, hanging in a green sky of all things. To the right, a barn can be seen, which is actually the location of the prize room for this mode, and behind the player is a small wooden stage with a banner over it reading Fall Fest 83, although I just want a Fall Fest any year, and a rusty car with headlights next to it. Behind the level select, you can see a scarecrow, and way back in the distance, a house on a hill that looks strikingly similar to the house featured in the menu for Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The blacklight mode switches the game between the standard menu and the blacklight menu, however there are no blacklight levels to play. This switch is just a way to actually activate Easter eggs, but I'd still want to have like a real FNAF Fall Fest in this world, so like, can we do that next year if the world allows it? Cause that's kind of dope.
Number 10, behind the scenes. I definitely would want to peek behind the curtain at Freddy Fazbear's, so to speak. How cool would it be to wander around the staff areas or roam the backstage, visit the storage room that holds all the animatronic suits, basically feel like you were an employee or a privileged VIP at the restaurant. Sure, you might have to worry about free roaming animatronics, maybe trying to kill you, but that's all part of the fun of the experience of actually visiting this place, right? Number 9, Spooky Mansion. I love the Curse of Dreadbear DLC, and so evidently I'm also a big fan of some of the locations that we visit there. Namely, I like everything that is based in and around the Spooky Mansion game mode. I personally would love to go to a mansion around Halloween that was completely FNAF themed and explore, interact with animatronics, and ideally eat a ton of candy. Candy is the best. When I used to go trick-or-treating, I would always sort my candy after, and my favorite candy, the one I would always eat first, would be the Reese Cups and the little mini Caramilks. We're not sponsored by either of those, but so good. I actually think that's the Caramilk slogan. I don't know, do chocolate bars have slogans? It's like something. Oh, maybe it's just caramel? Oh no, that's a different treat. Fun fact, some folks have already attempted around Halloween to bring the world of FNAF to life themselves by building haunted houses inspired by the franchise. So here's hoping we can all Halloween again this year and that you have one of these kinds of themed houses in your neighborhood. That would be so cool. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list, be sure to show it by giving this video a thumbs up. Number 8, Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. This place is just so steeped in lore, I think we'd all need to go there. Sister Location is also my favorite FNAF game, so you know I would want to crawl through those vents and feel that terror building up in my throat, that scream that I know I can't let out, because if I do, some free roaming animatronic in the dark will find me. Ennard or Ballora, probably. I don't don't really know why I'd want to go to Sister Location. It is so terrifying, but I think a big part of it is that terror. Like we were talking about sort of at the beginning of this list, we seek out horror because we enjoy the feeling that it gives us. And Sister Location is very much that for me. In terms of visiting that space in real life, I wouldn't want to actually be hurt, just to feel that rush of danger where it feels like something could go terribly wrong, but I know I'm safe because it's all just pretend. I mean, this would just be pretend, right? If we're talking about these places.
And at 7, Phaser Blast. Phaser Blast is one of the many locations inside of Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. I mean, like, some call it Phaser Blast, others call it Phaser Blast. Either way, I call it fun. I love laser tag. I grew up playing it, and if COVID wasn't a thing, I'd be a regular Barney Stinson, rocking it in this and playing every other weekend in a suit. Laser tag is one of my favorite things because it's fun, active, and I get to take my anger out on children by shooting them with lasers. In my hometown, there was a place called Laser Extreme, okay? It was the pinnacle of laser tag, and it was my favorite place to go. I'd go with my friend Nick, and we'd wreck kids using like superheroes as code names. I'd go with my friend Cameron. That's where he got his nickname of Spike. Those were the days, man. It's unfortunately closed. I think it's because of COVID, but Laser Quest, my other option, kinda blows. Or at least the one I was going to was pretty garbage. The blasters didn't register half my hits. But being able to actually play against animatronics in the Mega Pizzaplex makes me so happy.
Laser tag! Yes! Yes, yes, yes!
Especially if we get like a VR port of this game, or like a VR fan game version of just specifically laser tag. I don't care about the rest of the game, just specifically laser tag in VR. I need that, please. Halfway through and at number 5, Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex is a entertainment complex owned by Fazbear Entertainment, as well as FNAF Security Breach's primary setting. This pizzeria's mascot is Glamrock Freddy this time, and has a glam rock band, which is Glamrock Freddy, Chica, Montgomery Gator, and Roxanne Wolf. The pizzeria also houses these staff bots, as well as a Moondrop / Sunny Drop animatronic, Music Man, and Music Man Spider. Oh god, I hate those things. Hey kids, do you want pizza? Well, Fazbear Entertainment has spared no expense developing the world's most extreme family fun center. It's literally a mall. Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. At 3 stories tall, it's the flashiest, raddest, rockingest, safest pizzeria the universe has ever seen. Of course, Freddy and the band are excited to meet you, utilizing the latest in animatronic technology. You can actually party with the stars themselves. So, on your next birthday, let Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex make you a superstar. I think we all know why I want this place to be real. Okay, it's just cool. Okay, I have to admit, it's pretty cool. And laser tag. And at 4, Jeff's Pizza. Jeff's Pizza is a pizzeria from the Fazbear Frights universe that appears in Into the Pit and the epilogue of Gumdrop Angel. Oswald describes the pizzeria as a very weird place. The rundown restaurant has pale yellow walls, tons of unused floor space, and lots of unused electrical outlets along the base of the walls. On the far wall is a small stage and an empty dance floor. The vinyl on both seats has been repaired with duct tape, plastic letters have fallen off the menu board above the counter, and in the right back corner of the pizzeria is a large ball pit surrounded by yellow netting. It looked like it hadn't been cleaned in years. A sign that reads "Do not use" is attached to the rope. The red, green, and blue plastic balls are faded in color and strangely sickly, but Oswald jumps in it anyway and was time warped to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza after using the restaurant's ball pit, and does this multiple times. And in the 8th book's epilogue, Detective Everett Larson searches it to investigate the mystery about what's going on, and he finally comes across Jeff's Pizza and is handed the keys by Jeff to enter. He hesitantly enters the ball pit and notices that the balls looked exactly like visions that he'd had previously, and he looks closer at the plastic balls and notices that old blood is covering them, and he collects some samples before leaving. But I feel like this place is so run down that the food's gotta be great, so I kinda want it.
Number 1, Help Wanted VR. How can we visit a game though, Amanda? How can we visit the game when we play? Help Wanted is just supposed to be a game. Even in canon, it's described as being a virtual experience. But if you could walk through this virtual experience, would you? Well, that is a thing that could actually happen. Around the world, there are a few virtual experiences that actually allow you to roam in a room and in effect interact with the virtual components you see in your headset, effectively transporting you to that place virtually through your senses. These experiences are interactive in a brand new way. For example, if you see a sink in the room you were in your headset, you can actually walk over to that sink in the real world, turn it on, and feel the water running on your hand as you watch it spill from the the tap in VR. This takes VR to a whole new level where you don't just see and experience, but you can also feel, touch, and potentially even smell what's going on virtually around you. There's also tons of like surround sound going on, so you might actually hear something behind you and then turn around and see it, if you know what I mean. It's pretty neat. Now imagine, if you will, doing this with the Help Wanted experience. I personally have done a horror walkthrough, a fully immersive VR horror experience before, and wow, it was terrifying. So I can pretty accurately imagine how scary Help Wanted in this experience would be.
In a 10 Halloween special. Given FNAF's track record with various expansions around Halloween, I feel like it would only make sense to have some form of Halloween special thing around these delivery restaurants. Whether it be a special menu item with or maybe like even a discount. FNAF has released so much Halloween DLC with FNAF 4 and FNAF VR that it would just make sense to have something to do with Halloween with this delivery service, okay? And like I said, whether it be like a limited menu item, like maybe like some candy from FNAF VR, or as Amanda suggested to me, chocolate cockroaches, since apparently you can eat cockroaches in FNAF VR. Apparently it's also required to get the Let's Eat achievement, which is hilarious, but it could also just be like a random Halloween theme for the store, alright? That you can just like as you're scrolling through, you can see like Springtrap or the puppet watching us while we just scroll and needlessly spend our money only to make us sit on our couches and watch more YouTube. I mean, like, if you're watching us, that's probably the best way to spend the inevitable end of the world, but I mean, like, come on. And at 9, Fizzy Faz. Fizzy Faz is a set of items that can be found in Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, and using them, or like obtaining them, actually increases the player's stamina, and they can be found in different locations around the map. Fizzy Faz appears to be a Fazbear Entertainment branded soda line, featuring the main animatronics of this game, and sold like exclusively at the Pizzaplex. Each member of the animatronic band is featured on the cans, and they have like a flavor that represents their like color, I think, which is kind of weird, but that's a whole other thing. Okay, there's an orange flavored Fizzy Faz sponsored by Glamrock Freddy. It was located in like a control room when you first enter basement 1. There's a sour lime flavored Fizzy Faz sponsored by Montgomery Gator. I mean, it could have been something other than lime. I feel like lime, so like gotta do the lemon and lime to actually make it work, but whatever. Pink Lemonade sponsored by Glamrock Chica, and a grape flavored Fizzy Faz sponsored by Roxanne. Again, I feel like there could have been better options for that, because I mean, like, she has hardly any purple on her. She has more red, so you could have done cherry, but you know what, that's just me. But having those cans, or even just that kind of branding available on the app, would be pretty sick, even if it's just like in the style of like those Funko soda cans, you know, like that have the figure inside, or maybe it's just like a beer cozy or something. That would be fun. And at 8, themed meals. Just like how McDonald's has like the Happy Meals, Freddy's could have some form of themed meals as well, whether they be based on the games or on a favorite animatronic. I think that there would definitely be some form of like pizza, it's like a food theme that you can order, especially with the pizza. If there aren't like different combinations for the different popular animatronics, I'm gonna be mad, okay? I need to be able to order Chica's favorite pizza mashup, okay? I need the Freddy Fazbear Meat Lovers, or maybe the Monty Gator Meat Lovers, because he's a crocodile, and the crocodiles are meat. You know what I mean, okay? The Freddy Fazbear one might have like anchovies on it, because like he's a bear and anchovies are fish, you know? I think it would certainly help make this place feel like more of a Fazbear delivery service than just another pizza restaurant, okay? Like how Mr. Beast has like the whole like Carl's grilled cheese, or like the Chandler burger on his store. Yeah, this is that kind of concept, except it's just themed for animatronics instead of people.
Number 6, Circus Baby's Pizza World. I really just want to go here because I want to explore this location and see what mysteries I could potentially uncover. Circus Baby's Pizza World is still a location where I don't fully know what to expect. All I can guess is that it would be similar but different than Freddy's. Who are all the animatronics? Is the atmosphere and the themes the same? Are there more clowns and circus elements? Because that's what I picture. I imagine free, unlimited buttered popcorn at every table, a ceiling covered in cloth made to look like the top of a big circus tent, lots of warm lighting, maybe even a show where acrobats perform. Perhaps even the serving staff have like circus-based talents. I really imagine it to be a magically themed restaurant, which is why I think it would be a cool place to visit. Just maybe don't let Circus Baby serve you any ice cream. Number 5, your own pizzeria. Who doesn't want to go and enjoy the fun and horror of the pizzeria they themselves created in Pizzeria Simulator? I know I do. Imagine getting to enjoy your own games, attractions, and animatronics that you picked to be in your pizzeria. The question is, would you want to visit this location as an employee, the owner and manager, or as a guest? I personally would want to be in the role of manager to see how others were enjoying their time at my pizzeria, as long as I didn't have to deal with any lawsuits.
Getting close to the end into number 3, good food. However, personally, I would like to see actually good food come out of the delivery service, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really have high hopes for it. I am pretty skeptical, mostly because they're just menu items that the restaurant that is doing this will also start making, and since the quality of those items is only associated with the virtual dining concept store, being Fazbear delivery service, instead of actually the restaurant that's making it, they can probably get away with slacking. Since if the quality of, let's say, your Mr. Beast burger isn't the greatest, I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to order from Mr. Beast burger again, despite it being the Wendy's that made it. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, I can order from Wendy's, but let's avoid Mr. Beast burger despite them being literally the same kitchen. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, I'm hoping that these restaurants are actually end up making this, like, that make the food will be making enough from it that they actually want to have it be good quality, even after the initial wave of orders, okay? I also hope that we'll have more than just like pizza and like the same pizza that the place would make regularly, okay? For some reason I have the idea of like pizza balls from the Multiverse of Madness, okay? Because honestly that would be unique and that would be awesome. But like, that, aside from the pizza rolls that they initially said that they would have, okay, the ones with like the unique twist and game tie-ins that we still have no idea what that means, I want more unique things than just pizza rolls. You know, you get me? But ultimately, in at number 2, inside jokes. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand with the exotic butters thing, but I'm thinking like fandom specific jokes. You know, like, yes, exotic butters, but what about the rest? Amanda suggested Coffee's Coffee from Scott's other game, A Desolate Hope, and honestly, I think that that's a great idea. I mean, Coffee's character is canon in FNAF thanks to the FNAF 3 VR Easter egg where Coffee can appear on your desk, and maybe A Desolate Hope is one of the in-universe Scott's other games that he made before he was being paid by Fazbear to start making fun of their tragedies, so I think that it would absolutely be possible and funny to include that as a bit of a nod to the fans. There are also plenty of other jokes that they could reference, be it in the packaging or other products. Obviously, there were the ones that we mentioned previously, pizza for the main cast of the animatronics, toys that could have some jokes as well, like maybe a Buff Helpy toy, which would be actually terrifying. Please don't do that. There are like, even if some of the boxes have like Toy Freddy being aggressive or something, I think that those would be a great way to help make the fans feel like they're getting a little bit of extra value out of their order because they know the series. Otherwise, like, what's the point of being invested in it if there's no jokes or hints to pick up on, you know? Like, kind of like a relationship, because all those have gone so well for me. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, giant flashing sarcasm sign, like the gif from Big Bang Theory, you know? And finally, in at number 1, secret lore. I think finally the thing that we all want is for there to be some kind of secret lore that is going to be revealed with these restaurants. Like maybe a secret code here and there, or maybe they end up revealing who caused the bite of 87 for real, or finally confirm that Crying Child is the one you should not have killed because no one believes me. But no matter what way you slice it, I think that we're all hoping for and even kind of expecting some secrets to come out of these restaurants. I mean, we got it with the Fazbear Frights books, we got it with the sister location toys because, you know, you bought them all and they all made Ennard. We even got it with the goddamn survival logbook. So, especially in lieu of this being discovered after MatPat suggested a potential FNAF ARG, I think we're all going to be surprised if this has nothing to do with that possibility. Honestly, I'm fairly certain that the only reason the Twitter account was revealed despite joining in January of 2021 was because of this leak and because people found out, okay? They were certainly going to be more delayed before revealing, suggesting that this was probably going to open in 2023, which also just so happens to be the time that Fazbear's Fright opens in Universe, the location we explore in FNAF 3, which if you thought was opening later or earlier than that, I hope that this confirms the time frame for you, but like these things aren't a coincidence. Not with Scott, not with the man who released the second FNAF game 87 days after the first, assuming that the first one would fail. No way, unless I'm crazy, which is entirely possible. In at 10, Pizzaplex. The security breach Pizzaplex is currently not that scary. The space is open and there isn't really any jump scares from what we've seen, at least if you don't get caught. But there are maintenance tunnels and stalking animatronics that will send a shiver down your spine. Looking at the animatronic alcoves, noticing Roxanne is missing, and then turning to see her running at you full steam is going to be horrifying. Especially in smaller spaces like the kitchen and enclosed areas of the laser tag arena and Chica's playpen, as well as the maintenance tunnels and other locations. This is going to have me actually screaming. Should I play this on the channel when it comes out? I kinda don't want to. And at 9, back rooms. The FNAF VR DLC's Pirate Ride is one of the most chill minigames in the world, at least the first time. After that, the minigames get freaky once you start hitting the helpy cutouts in certain levels. These, when facing left, take you backstage behind the main ride into areas that can actually jump scare you. These have 100-point targets though, making them necessary in order to get the highest score possible, which ironically is actually 0. These areas include but are not limited to sections where you get trapped right next to Jacko, Chica, and Bonnie, having to close the door on them before they get to you, and a good minute of defending yourself against 2 animatronics as they walk on treadmills coming your way, hitting a target that will repel them backwards until the cart guides you to safety. These sections can be freaky as hell, and one wrong move and you're animatronic food. But it's good if you want to relax, just do your best not to hit Helpy. And if you do, hit him again so he faces right before you move to the next section. Hot tips. And at 8, repair vents. FNAF VR not only puts you through the weirdest Disney ride ever, but they also make you repair the vents at Fazbear locations, one of which has been shut down because of Mangle being stuck inside them, and the other because Ennard wanted to say hello. The Mangle vent repair starts off with Mangle in your face, but at least she's scared of light, making you complete simple puzzles while checking the vents around you, and then you're fine. But the Ennard vent repair kicks things up 5 notches, where you need to complete more complex puzzles within a certain time frame, otherwise you get spooked. This includes following wires to hit buttons in the correct order, and a series of gear puzzles meant to take forever, and rotating pipes to ultimately burn Ennard alive, until it jump scares you by nearly getting into your vent. The vent repairs are not for the faint of heart, since the animatronics are right in your face, and your only defense is looking at them. The Ennard repair also features Springtrap crawling at you slowly, and the nightmare mode for these is just even worse. Don't do it. And at 7, the Sun and Moon drop candy. The daycare attendant is a sun and moon headed animatronic themed thing, creepy dude that is consisting of 2 personalities that share the same vessel in Security Breach. The character is like a mascot for 2 candy brands though, and they go by the names of Sunny Drop Energizing Candy and Moondrop Sleepy Time Candy. These candies are actually how we figured out the name of the animatronic, but the animatronic, like, he chills out in like the daycare, which is a whole other like question, but then as soon as the lights go off, the moon shows up, and it's unknown if moon is activated when the lights go out in the daycare specifically, or if it's just when the area around him is dark. But however, being able to order the candy would actually be kind of cool. It would be a great addition to the app. I mean, it wouldn't really be like, it wouldn't actually be energizing or sleepy candy, because I mean that's just caffeine and melatonin pills. But even if it's like just branded hard candy, I feel like it would be kind of a cool addition. It would in essence be a form of collector's item because of that, and the amount of exclusives that this service could have kind of horrifies me. As someone who is constantly broke, the amount of exclusives, this is gonna be costly. I might have to give up literally my apartment for it. And at 6, toys! There are so many toys in the FNAF universe that I don't even know. I don't even need to talk about Security Breach in this sense. In FNAF VR, there are a ton of prize counter items, okay? In this game, prizes are unlocked at the end of the levels, okay? The player will open a present with a hand crank. It's kind of similar to a Jack-in-the-Box thing. Then you'll receive a random prize or a jump scare. There are 105 separate prize items in Help Wanted, and 70 of those are not food items. Even if we went to like the action figures only, much like how McDonald's and Burger King gave out or used to give out toys, the Happy Meals, maybe like the Fazbear delivery service could do the same thing, but not a Happy Meal, because you know, copyright. I don't quite know how it would work. They would need smaller versions of those action figures and whatnot, and I feel like it would be a lot, but it would be a little something extra for the kids who wouldn't really be satisfied having just FNAF branded food, which I mean is understandable. Like, because you don't buy food, you rent it. Am I right, fellas? Just me? Okay, well, I don't really want to keep a greasy branded pizza box around my apartment as a memory, okay? So like, an optional toy would be a good idea. I also have no FNAF merch aside from that one shirt that I can't find anymore, so yeah. Halfway through, in at number 5, Exotic Butters. At Exotic Butters. Exotic butters. Cringy white guy aside, despite the terrifying ships involving exotic butters with other characters, yeah, sad to say I'm not exaggerating that. Exotic butters X Ennard is a real thing. Go watch the video. It would still be nice to have an exotic butters joke somewhere in this delivery service. Maybe a certain dish or category of food is made with quote-unquote exotic butters, or maybe they just like sell sticks of butter that are imported from somewhere else. I mean, it would be absolutely hilarious. They could also just do a thing where like you're ordering a basket of bread or whatever, but instead send exotic butters, like kind of like that scene from Sister Location. Or since that would probably cause some issues with people who don't actually understand the joke, maybe just like an April Fool's Day joke thing where like every time you click on a menu item it just says you're ordering exotic butters. I don't know, they may lose business that day, but it would be hilarious, and I feel like Scott doesn't really care about making money, so who knows. I don't quite know how it would work, but I mean, exotic butters is such a low-hanging fruit at this point, and I didn't think about it until Amanda reminded me, which is kind of sad. And for branding, I think that the appeal of this delivery service isn't going to be the food exactly, okay? It's going to be the fact that you're ordering from a place known as Freddy Fazbear's, and that's really the whole driving point behind this business venture. That's what it is, okay? Honestly, the only reason people order from Mr. Beast Burger is because they like Mr. Beast and or want him to notice them, kind of like tier 3 subs on Twitch. Yeah, despite it being a very, very low possibility, because, you know, it's Uber Eats, you still try. And before you tell me it's because you like the food, that seems impossible to me. I mean, unless Mr. Beast Burger is different in the States. Okay, I've ordered it twice and maybe got a couple of the most disappointing meals I've gotten on a delivery app, okay? The worst one was when the driver put my pizza box upside down, but like that's not the point. My point is that if people are going to order Fazbear's, it's going to be because it's Fazbear, okay? Even if the food isn't great. So driving home the branding and making it really good and iconic is going to do a lot for them in the long run, especially after the novelty wears off when it first releases. Trust me, okay? I went to school for this kind of thing, so I have a pretty good idea. Plus, also, have you seen this channel? Branding things with FNAF is kind of my thing. And at 3 Plush Traps Hall, FNAF 4 was the introduction of the nightmare animatronics, making it the scariest game for some. However, the real horror comes from Plush Trap's hallway. In this minigame, Plush Trap sits on a stool at the opposite of the hallway. Your goal is to let him get closer and eventually flash your light at him while he's on the red X. This is such a bad idea. You're trapped in this tiny hallway with an animatronic killer that you have to willingly let get closer to you. Why? Why can't you keep your light on it until you can rip it apart and bury the pieces in different zip codes? Turn the goddamn light on, for fuck's sake. Why put your life at risk? I know it's just a game, it could just be a nightmare, but if it's not a nightmare, why are you being so dumb? I don't care if you're a kid. When I was a kid, if I'm scared or in danger, I turn the light on, even if it won't help. But if light is the one thing keeping this thing from attacking you, why are you willingly playing with fire? That's stupid, and that makes this minigame scary. But you know what? You also deserve it. And at 2, Corn Maze. The Corn Maze from the Curse of Dreadbear DLC for Help Wanted is the scariest minigame I've played, at least until you understand how it works. In the maze, you run around looking for keys. Each key works with the corresponding colored door. Collect all 4 and a brown and purple glitched key appears that opens a secret ending in the cellar. But this entire maze is creepy as hell, with Grim Foxy knowing your location at all times unless you're hiding behind a cardboard cutout, making him unable to see you but knowing you're in the area. The worst part about this maze though is the crows. They're on the ground periodically in clusters that will make a loud caw and fly away if you step on them. Not only do they scare the absolute bejesus out of you, but they also alert Foxy to your location, making him speed up his search. But once you know about the letting him see you and then hiding strategy, you're mostly okay. Now just gotta watch out for the other jump scares, like the damn frickin' crows. The hell? Yo, my game is glitching. What? Play area not found? What? I gotta redraw this already? What? I don't know if the game is going or not. Finish. Why did my play area suddenly disappear? That's not okay. What? Okay, here's another key. Oh, frack. He's like right out front. And I also can't hear my game anymore. Why can't I see? I can't hear my game. No! No! Why? I can't hear my game. Finally, in at number 1, Nightmare Hallway. The final spot has got to go to the hallway from Curse of Dread there. It could have been the real Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that was shown through coordinates thanks to Scott's website having a load of 8 and 7s in its source code, but Amanda used that in part 1 so it feels wrong to use it again. The hallway is the first of the Spooky Mansion levels in the Help Wanted DLC, and it's easy to see why it's the worst. A long hallway with multiple invisible doors on the walls that you can't see until they're open, and if you're next to one when they do open, you get jump scared. Foxy will face opposite you at random times, and if you move while you can see him, you'll get jump scared. That's not that bad, but you don't know when you're going to see Foxy. Then once you're halfway down the hallway, a door from where you started opens, releasing Nightmare Freddy along with the Freddles, who will walk up to you from behind at a constant rate, meaning that if you stand still for too long, thanks to Foxy, the doors, or a combination of the two, you'll get jump scared. And when he's close to you, you see his shadow when the lightning flashes, making things even worse. This is probably the hardest minigame in the DLC, and that's one of the reasons I didn't play it. I hate VR horror, but that just feels like too much for me.